Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Tech Motoring. On today's episode we're going to be taking a look at this product here. This is the AINAVI Tesla to J1772 adapter for your J1772 vehicles here, like this Mustang Mach-E. So this allows you to charge on your Tesla destination chargers, level 2 chargers, mobile connectors, anything other than superchargers. So we're going to take a look at this product today and see how it holds up to all the other adapters I have reviewed, except there's one cool thing about this adapter that separates it from all the others, and that is an LCD screen. So let's dive in and take a look. Hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. So like I was saying, we got sent this product here from AINAVI. So this is a Tesla to J1772 adapter compatible with any J1772 vehicles that allow you to charge at any Tesla charging station except for superchargers, of course. So this allows you to charge on mobile connectors, home level 2 installations, and of course if you're out in the field at a destination charger, you could charge there as well. Of course, these are not compatible with the superchargers, as I said, so make sure you don't try to do that with these adapters. It just will not work. So anyway, we have here today a pretty nice adapter with an interesting spin on it. So this is a 60 amp capable Tesla to J1772 adapter. So this was sent to me to review, and the one reason that I was kind of interested in looking at this product was specifically because it has an LCD screen on it that gives you some information about what's happening during the charging session, which I thought was really kind of interesting. Even though this is not necessarily a needed feature, I really find that it's an interesting feature to have for maybe testing purposes, or maybe if you just want to confirm what an output of a charging station is while you plug into it. So I think it could be useful in certain circumstances, but not necessarily something that everybody should have when it comes to charging adapters. But anyway, let's jump into the box real quick. We'll see what the adapter looks like. We'll see how it functions today. And we'll see what information we get on that LCD screen. Is it something that you really need to know? Is it something that you find useful for yourself? If you end up finding that that stuff is useful and this adapter is interesting to you, you could take a look down in the description below where you could get a link to this product and take a look at it for yourself. In the meantime, let's take a look at the box real quick and see what this adapter offers, what they claim it offers here on the box. So this shows a maximum 60 amp limit for this adapter. Now, I typically like to see 80 amp maximum limits on adapters. If you're going to use them, I always recommend investing in something that's a lot more than what you need. So for instance, if you have a vehicle that charges at 48 amps like this Mach-E here, I would recommend getting at least a 60 amp, even an 80 amp. So maximum 60 amp, 250 volt, of course, compatible with all J1772s. It is waterproof and dustproof. So it is IP65 rated. So that means it's pretty good. I like seeing an IP65. That really is my minimum when it comes to adapters. I like to know that you can have confidence using it outside in all weather, making sure that no dust or water gets into it easily. So an IP65 rating is really good to see. Temperature control protection. Now this is something that I find really interesting as well, is it actually does have built-in circuitry to shut itself off temporarily if it overheats. So for instance, it claims that if it reaches a temperature of 180 degrees Fahrenheit based on that internal circuitry, it will actually shut off and wait for the temperature to come down below, I think it was like 140 degrees. It will then start charging again, and if it then exceeds that 180 degree temperature threshold again, it will then cut off charging all the way down to, I think it was about 104 degrees, and then it will continue charging. So it uses kind of a dual step approach to keep you in a safe range. Now, a lot of these adapters do come with some built-in, system that kind of stops the charging, but not all of them do, and you got to really be careful about that. Sometimes it's better to invest in a higher quality product, something you're going to spend a little bit more money for, maybe another $30, $40, $50, $60, $100 for an adapter, because sometimes that little bit of a safety is well worth it. The last thing you want to do is plug into a charging station somewhere and then all of a sudden you overload the adapter doesn't know how to shut itself off, and then all of a sudden now you have a melted adapter to a charging station, or worse, melted to your car. And then a couple other things they show on the side of the box here: over current protection, short circuit protection, over under voltage protection, leakage protection, lightning protection, ESD protection. So let's go ahead and dive into the box and see what we get inside of it. So here we have the adapter inside of a little pouch that they give you as well. And they also give you this little business card. Before we look at the adapter, let's take a look at this card real quick. So it's just basically a picture of the adapter. It basically just states, once again, not compatible with Tesla supercharger. Do not disconnect under load, and do not use if damaged. Pretty obvious things to say there, but obviously it's nice that they put them right here on the card. It also shows their maximums, which 250 volts, 60 amps. It's an IP65 rating, and the temperature rating is -22 Fahrenheit or -30 Celsius to 158 degrees Fahrenheit or 70 degrees Celsius. Now this is a bit higher than I've seen a lot of other electronics or these adapters. Usually they're rated up to about 122 degrees, which means that if you're going to use this outside, if you're going to be using this in the middle of the summertime, if the sun's going to be blasting down on it, well, that gives you a little bit more than just the typical 122 degrees that I've seen a lot of other adapters. All right, so now let's take a look at the adapter itself. So once again, it comes in this really nice bag here, so you can keep it protected in your car. At least you have a little bit of protection around it. Very nice. All right, so here is the adapter here, and as we can see, we have that LCD screen right there on the left side of the adapter. So this plugs into your vehicle on this side, so the screen is on this side. And I'm going to show you something weird about this screen in a little bit that maybe can be improved depending on what they can do with their production. But so what we have here is our Tesla side. So we have our 5-pin Tesla side here. Looks pretty good. The plastic piece in the middle that kind of guides the charging handle into the adapter feels pretty stiff. The pins themselves feel pretty stiff as well, so I really don't see any major issues with design on that. We also have this locking mechanism here at the bottom of the Tesla side. So this is just a temporary locking mechanism, so when you put the handle into the adapter, that it locks the handle in, so you can't easily pull it out unless you pull this release right here, which I like to see these. Occasionally I like to see the ones that have locks through them, where you could, like, it has a hole so you could put a lock through it. If you're in the area where you are not safe about leaving an adapter plugged into your car because you're afraid somebody might steal the charging session or your adapter, at least there's a way for you to potentially lock it. But this doesn't offer that feature, so if that's like a feature you absolutely need on your adapter, then this may not be the adapter for you. But it does have a temporary locking solution, which we will test this later as well to see how that works. On the other side, we have our J1772 side, as we can see here. Once again, pins feel pretty good. I do see an O-ring in there, so it looks like it does have some waterproof rating. Once again, it's an IP65 rated adapter, so that's nice to see. We do have the unlock mechanism at the top here. Has a nice clicking action when you push down on it, so that's nice. We'll see how that disconnect procedure works when we have it attached to the car and charging. And then we could see the action here of the clip to see how that disconnects from the vehicle. Now this is kind of fully exposed on the top, but not really exposed. That's one of my biggest pet peeves about these mechanisms right here, is I usually like to see these things either mostly underneath the casing of the adapter itself, or try to be at least flush with the top of the adapter, so this way there's no chance of, if you drop this like this, that it doesn't necessarily break this piece, because this is a very important piece to when you're charging your car, because you don't want to pull an adapter out while it's charging. That's the whole reason of having this mechanism here, so it disconnects the charge and then you pull it out of the car. So I typically like to see this a little bit better designed, but honestly, this is not bad. It's not really all that exposed. It's up just maybe, an 1/8 of an inch or so off of the casing. So I don't mind that at all. All right, well, now that we've gone ahead and tested all this, let's go see how the fit is with the Tesla side first. and then we'll go ahead and test it on the vehicle. And then we'll take a look at what this screen actually does. All right, so what I have here is just a Tesla mobile connector here, and we use the Tesla end of this, plug it into the adapter. We'll see how everything fits in the adapter. We'll see how it works. And then we'll plug this into the car and start charging it. And then we're gonna see what comes up on the screen with this. This is only 120 volt adapter, so we're gonna just see what it gives us on the screen. And then we're gonna plug this into a level 2 station and see what comes on the screen as well. And then that's when we're gonna do some testing with the adapter to see basically how warm it gets, how hot it gets, and see what it does over the course of about 1 hour charging. So let's go ahead and try this first real quick. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take this charging handle here. We're going to go ahead and try to plug it into this adapter, and it looks like you do have to lift on the release a little bit, so we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to plug this in. All right, it is in now, so that feels really good. It does not feel like it's really loose. It's got just a tiny bit of play in it, but I think that is very much acceptable when it comes to these types of plugs. So it seems pretty good. Now I'm going to do one more test that I always try with these adapters. What I always like to test with these adapters is if you can pull the charging handle out without pushing this button in, because you never know when you'll be charging out in public. Somebody might walk up to the car, they might bump into this, it could potentially pull out, they could step on the cable, they could yank it out of the adapter, or some people might just be, you know, people, and they might actually try to yank the adapter out without actually trying to pull this lock. And so you don't want to do that when the car is charging, because then you're possibly in a situation where you may arc across the adapter and the handle. So what we want to see is if this can be pulled out without releasing this mechanism, and we'll see how that works. Let's go ahead and try it. No. So that's good. I like that. So you cannot pull the handle out of the adapter without pushing this button first, which is what I like to see, because you don't want to have that happening when you're charging. So let's go ahead and pull the button here. Came out nice and smooth, very easy. Let's go ahead and push it back in. Once again, locks into place, and it's very solid, plugged into the adapter. All right, so let's go ahead and plug this into the vehicle now, and then that's when we'll get a good look at the screen and see what kind of information it gives us. All right, everybody. Well, you join me now right here at the CCS connector of my Mustang Mach-E, and we're gonna go ahead and plug this in right now and see how it looks. And we're gonna go ahead and take a look about what's on that screen here. So let's go ahead and plug this in. Let's see how the feeling of it is going into the vehicle. All right, feels really good, really solid. Went in, really no pressure going in. It kind of felt nice just going in. Doesn't feel very loose, doesn't feel like it's gonna fall out. So now we are charging up the vehicle here on the 120 volt mobile connector. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's on the screen. So here's the one big caveat I have about the screen is it's on this side of the vehicle. So that means that it's very hard to see what's on this screen because the door is actually kind of in the way of the screen. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe a lot of cars, at least ones that have the flap on the driver's side of the vehicle, the door is open this way. And so I believe that this is going to be basically covered up in this situation quite a bit because of the doors opening up in this direction. I believe that's the way it is on most vehicles that have the charging port on the driver's side. Now, if it's on the passenger side, you might not have that issue because the door might open the other way. The screen might be on the side that's not being covered. And of course, if you have a vehicle that has a charge port going up or going down, then obviously it won't be in the way either. But this is my biggest issue I have with the screen is that it's on this side, and therefore it makes it a little hard to read the screen. But let me go get my phone real quick so we can capture some shots of the screen here. All right, well, here we are looking at the screen here up close. Don't mind the flashing of the screen. That is just the way the camera is taking the information in. So as we can see here, the top is our temperature in Fahrenheit. So we have 68 degrees Fahrenheit. It shows our input voltage is 118 and our current at 11.12 amps. This is once again 120 volt. So we're only pulling about the 12 amp maximum that we can from the circuit. And right now we show a power rating of 1.316 kilowatts of energy going into the vehicle. So really, really interesting. I really like the way this looks, and it's really informative too, which is really nice. Unfortunately, the only issue I have is that you can't see it real well from outside the vehicle. All right, now you got me here with our J1772 Tesla adapter. Unfortunately, I only have a J1772 level 2 charging station in my garage. So I adapt it from the J1772 to a Tesla adapter, and then we plug it into the adapter that we're testing. It works perfectly fine. It hasn't caused any issues in the past, so let's go ahead and give this a shot and see how it looks. We're just going to plug this into the AINAVI adapter here, and we're going to go ahead and plug it into the vehicle, and let's see what data we get on the screen. And then we're also going to run this for about 1 hour, let it charge up the car, and see if we see any weird temperature spikes with the adapter while we have it plugged in for roughly that 1 hour. All right, let's go ahead and get this plugged into the vehicle. There we go. I can hear the vehicle connecting. Charger has just clicked, which is good. We're just going to take some baseline temperatures here and see what we're looking at. 68, 72, 66, and about 70 there as well. Let's just get right up here at the top. About 67, and some of that temperature could be because I was holding the adapter, so that might be why it's a little warm in certain areas. But let's take a look at what's on the screen here and see what it's providing us details of the charging session so far. All right, zooming in here on the adapter, and let's see what we got here. So our temperature is at 68, which is roughly what we were getting on the outside. Shows 243 volts, very good. 31.5 amps, which is perfect. And about 7.6 kilowatts of energy going into the vehicle right now. So let's go ahead and give this about an hour. Let's see what happens in that 1 hour and see what the temperature goes up to. See if we see any differences in the current or the power, and we'll kind of go from there. All right, everybody, well, you join us back now 1 hour after we've plugged in the AINAVI Tesla to J1772 adapter, charging this vehicle here. So once again, this is a 32 amp charge that's going into the vehicle right now through this adapter, and the adapter is rated at 60 amps. So we are only doing roughly half of what the adapter is rated, so we really shouldn't see anything out of the ordinary here. So the first thing we're going to start with is just getting some temperatures from the adapter like we did before we started the test, and see how much higher they are over ambient temperature. So let's start with that. We're just going to grab some temperatures here. So we're about 76. Let's come back this way, about 73, about 75 there, 74, 72, 73, and we'll just get one on top too. About 73, 72.5. Okay, so really the outside casing hasn't really gone up all that much, which is good to see. Of course, it has gone up in temperature outside here in the garage over the past hour as well, so that could be why the casing has gone up a few degrees. So nothing within that spectrum of concern as far as what I'm concerned with. So that seems to be pretty good. Now let's take a look at the screen and see what the screen is telling us as far as the details and the data that's going in. All right, so once again, we'll try to tuck you in here so you could see the screen as best as possible. Once again, sorry for the flashing. That's just the way the camera is gathering that data. So we are looking at a temperature of 91 degrees Fahrenheit. So it has gone up quite a bit, but really nothing of concern, considering that it says it can go a lot higher than that. In fact, it says that it could go almost double that before it will trigger an event for it to basically stop charging. So we're good there. Voltage is still strong at 242 volts. Our current is 31.5 amps, which is correct. And our power is still 7.6 kilowatts going into the vehicle. So very cool to see. Once again, temperature 91 degrees is still perfectly fine and well within reason for this adapter. All right, so the last test we're going to do here is the disconnect test, where we push down on the J1772 adapter button and make sure that it disconnects power to the vehicle before we pull it out. So let's go ahead and test that real quick. We're just going to put my thumb right here and we're going to push down. And instantly it disconnected from the vehicle. Vehicle stopped charging. Charger has turned off. We're now going to pull it out. Feels really, really good. Everything seems to be okay as far as contactors go. So really good. All right, everybody, there you go. There is the AINAVI Tesla to J1772 charging adapter, 60 amp capable for your Tesla level 2 stations and mobile connectors, so you can charge up your J1772 vehicle with this adapter. And I think it's a really cool product. I think it's really interesting to have that ability to see the data on the screen, so you kind of get a better insight as to what you're plugging into. Is it completely necessary? Not really, but for certain people that may want to do like certain testing with plugging into a specific type of a charger, or if you're just not sure about plugging into a certain charger, you're not sure of the amperage, or you're not sure exactly how much is going through it, so maybe you want to test it using this. I think it could be very interesting for that specific purpose. Now, the one thing I will say that I am kind of enthusiastic about more is the fact that they're claiming to have that internal circuit cutoff system, where basically it will just cut off the circuitry if it sees a high temperature or sees any other major issues. Now, I couldn't really test those specific functions of this adapter, but it is always good to have an adapter that has those types of functions. So this way you know that if there was an issue with it overheating for any reason, that the adapter will shut off. So that is some peace of mind there. And that's just a safety feature, whether you use this in your garage, in your house, anywhere, or even if you're out in public somewhere. Once again, I think the adapter is really good. I haven't really spoken about the actual shape of the adapter or the looks of the adapter. So let's just talk about that real quick. So the adapter looks pretty cool with the black on the back here, the black on the front here, and then the white casing, which is really kind of nice. You got the LCD screen across the side there. And so I think overall, I mean, it feels good. It obviously does the trick of plugging into a vehicle. Everything seems to be pretty nice about, the plug sides. The locking mechanism seems to be really nice. That all seems to come together really, really nice in this adapter. So I think that this is a pretty cool adapter. I think that for the safety features of the adapter, if they do work, I think is a really cool selling point. The LCD screen, I think, is just one of those things that maybe if you like it, if you're kind of a geek like me, you might find this interesting and you might find a use for it one day, but I don't really necessarily think you need to have this when you have an adapter. The other annoying thing about the screen is that the screen is on that side. Now, I know this might be a case-by-case basis, but for me, having the screen on that side made it more difficult for me to read what was on the screen. And so with that being said, if the screen was more centrally located, either maybe higher up or just on the opposite side, it may fix it for me, but then again, we may ruin that functionality for somebody else that might be on the other side of the car, their charging port. So if you're going to charge your car at 48 amps, I don't recommend getting a 48 amp adapter. I always recommend going up a next step, so 60 amps would be the natural next step. All right, everybody, I'd like to thank you very much for watching today's episode. If you're interested in this product and you want to take a look at it for yourself, go ahead and click down in the link below the video. You'll see a link there. It'll take you right to the product so you can take a look at it and pick out whether or not this is the proper adapter for you. Anyway, I'd like to thank you again for watching today's episode. And remember, welcome to the future and welcome to Tech Motoring. Check us out on all our social medias down in the description below as well, and we'll see you on the next episode.